Welcome back to our channel. Today we're gonna have a Rogue Tower review. So, shortly about the gameplay. The gameplay is a classic tower defense with usual principles in the style of a comfortable roguelike. At the very beginning they offer to choose an important kingdom, setting how many passengers there to the castle the enemies will attack right from the start. This number varies from 1 to 3. We are thrown into a randomly generated initial location that needs to be protected. There are only a few cells for the location of protective structures, but this is where the fun begins. We arrange the first tower and call on a wave of enemies, all the salt in this progress. The fact is that the call of opponents is carried out only when the starting location increase in a site, and so every wave. And the new locations are waiting for a variety of surprises and can find a wine or to repair the main building of mana deposits developing, which we supply the towers with powerful attacks if we pump it. There were a lot of variations. As playing field expands, the new types of reinforcements arrived to the enemies. I also noticed that you can open locations with special buildings, and these buildings will generate special enemies, for example as cemetery and ghosts. An important feature is that by expanding the playing space, there may be a reformulation of monsters approach path on, and then the more enemies will attack from these open passages, and we will have to build more and more sophisticated defenses. Branches can contain other branches, and there are more and more of them. All unlocked cells randomly generate objects and various of new passages. This is perhaps the first such project in the genre for me, where the placement of towers should take into account the prospects for increasing the playing field, and it's not enough just to stick appropriate protection in the good places. There is always a scratching of communications. The game has a very large number of type of towers. The properties of each structure, including the attack radius, can be seen in the description. Here for gold we upgrade buildings. In addition, defensive buildings are pumped by themselves, simply by attacking opponents. Spamming towers will not work to the piece of each subsequent buildings increase dramatically. Each tower can be forcibly configured to attack targets of interest to us with 3 priority levels. There are a lot of variations. You can beat by the headline, the most armored, various wounded animals, and so on. By default, buildings attacks they don't see first. The first is not only a good idea. For example, a ram can roll behind a crowd of simple orcs, which will cause a lot of trouble. It's worth noting that the main improvement of the new type of building notched here. Those improvements that drop out during session is at special details, the global development tree. At some point a loss occurs, and then our succeed are converted into experience according to the same formula, which can be spent in the pumping tree is arranged a very unusual way. There are 2 types of improvements, permanent and dynamic random, as well as the conditions for opening other upgrades. With the constant improvements, everything is clear, and conceptually they are nothing new. Another thing is dynamic random improvements to the specific towers. This is interesting system. As the game progresses we upgrade. If such an upgrade has fallen out on the opens on the global upgrade for free. But you can open it manually from the collected experience, and it even makes sense, since many improvements require not only experience but also a certain number of open cards. As far as I understand, this is done so that especially cunning players do not pump some kind of imbu from the start. That's it. The type vary of improvements are just a sea, ice, run, wide. Conclusion. For the fans of tower defense, this game can be even bring a new interesting experience. It doesn't happen very often that sometimes conceptually new appears in this genre. In everything except for the graphics, the serious work is done visible. About the pros, more. Good music and sound accompaniment. The great idea with the infinite space to expand the playing field. Excellent random generations of each section of the location. Useful hostile building or objects may appear. Not 2 gaming sessions are the same. This is the most huge pros. So I won't be able to tell about the cons because I don't want to, because I really enjoyed this game, so I leave all the links in the description that you can enjoy it too. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.